It's Tuesday, March 25th, 2025. I'm Dr. Grantham Taylor Hughes for my show, The Grantham Taylor Hughes Show, with my guest host, Lena Suzanne. Hi, Lena. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. How are you, Grantham?
I'm fine.
Good.
See, people don't know why we're laughing. Pre-talk jokes is what we call it. We can't let you in on the joke because it was, well, it was okay. I don't know what the joke was, but mostly things are a joke anyway. Oh, oh, goody, goody, goody. Here we are. Yes, indeedy.
Do you know what I wanted to ask you about Grantham is I know that you have these four pillars, and I don't think we've been into them in the videos yet, and it would be interesting to hear what your four pillars are and why you have them, where they came from.
Well, I actually got to have the platform first before you have the pillars. The platform is the 1930 Geneva Convention bankruptcy. Okay. And so that bankruptcy still holds true today because we've been in that bankruptcy since that time. Now, the four pillars that hold up that platform are health, sovereignty, solvency, and AFI and Chetto. So those pillars are what support that platform that I talked about when I started out 18 years ago in 2006. And the reason why I brought that to public attention was because we've been in that bankruptcy for that period of time, and we're going to remain there because we can't get the proper banking equilibrium. And that means balance of accounts. We just cannot get to it because we have a collective math problem. It's in the mathematics issue, which is a shame, but and they don't really understand why it's always going bankrupted. But because I'm a consulting managing director of Barclays, they they ask my opinion on these things, you see. So I'm a consultant. I give my opinion, but I'm not really a part of any group or entity whatsoever. But I put in my 2 cents, obviously. But you see, that consultant is the factor of, as I've said to you before, because I was trained in the Far East, it comes from a high realization level, and but I can't be in the forefront because it's unnecessary. Who wants to be a puppet to be shot at? I'm not really interested in that nonsense. And at the same time, we're trying, our work here in the video is to get out truth that can be manifest. I mean, the irony is a pet peeve on me was years ago. I was talking about the Uniform Commercial Code being international law, and the people that were listening to me at that time were trying to implement it in the court systems in England, and they realized that they uh, said it didn't exist. You see what I mean? Because if they recognize it in the courtroom, that means they're recognizing the international bankruptcy. And that's a major problem because if you went to public media, they don't want to have the mass hysteria by the people, revolution in the streets. And it could cause an uprising like that. And it's unnecessary, you see, because it's behind everything anyway. And then when I'm revealing this on in the soon to be mass media, hopefully, it'll be a graduality, it'll be a gradual state of becoming aware of these things because not all of a sudden are the systems going to shift and change. It takes a while for knowledge to spread and to be a mandate of the people because that's how it is. The people force things into becoming real and make it a happening. And we have to be a foundation for that, so to speak, because I don't see anybody doing any of that in our the YouTubes and the motivators and what have you. They're talking a lot of information, but I don't think they're not doing core work like we are. We're doing core work at the core of things. And I think we're in the center of it, and that's important. And then they say, what is a center? Well, the center is what we talk about. As I've been saying to you, we talk about things that people are thinking about. And why is it? Well, when we make a connection and proper conclusion, that's what people are thinking about. They want to make proper conclusions, and we do that. We're making proper conclusions that other people can't even get to, but we're asking key questions and then doing the research to present that. We show documentation. I've shown the dollar bill on the screen with the Federal Reserve note at the top banner, which was put on that after 1945. But it was instituted in 1930, but it took them 15 years to get it into the marketplace. They started issuing it back in 1930, but then the silver certificates took up till 1963 to get them out of the marketplace. So it took them 33 years to get the silver certificates out and all the Federal Reserve notes there. So now the silver certificate is a numismatic commodity that's traded in those particular fairs, the numismatic fairs. They trade that currency, but it's not really a medium of exchange anymore. You can still buy with it, but I don't recommend it because a silver certificate may be worth hundreds of dollars, depending on the series and the date, and et cetera. See, so they took those out because they're certificates that back the note. And even in, remember we showed that $10,000 bill where they were showing you can redeem this particular IOU at the bank, but you really can't. If you took that $10,000 bill to the bank, they don't have the certificates backing it. So they're in breach of contract. Every bank can be sued for breach of contract, by the way. You could create a lawsuit, Lena, right away and go to your bank and say, you're in breach of contract because you're not following through on a certification level that's been said on some of the notes that they made after the 1793 Coinage Act. Anyway, so I know I've put most people to sleep by now. I know I am. I'm going to take a nap. Good night.
Uh-huh. So can we go
Yes.
back a bit, Grantham? So you were saying that the platform is the fact that we're in this 1930 Geneva Convention bankruptcy, and the four pillars, health, sovereignty, solvency, and affianchetto, are the pillars that support the platform. Can you tell us a bit about those pillars and how they support the platform?
Well, I added health to it because it used to be a triangular platform. And so I made it into a square and it was more supportive that way. Albeit triangles are okay, triumphant, triad, things of that nature, terminology. But I always said that without your health, what's the point of politics? If you're dead, it doesn't matter, right? So that's why health had to get in there. And as people know, for the last 18 years, I've been raw vegan, and it's very hard to do, nearly impossible to do for most people because they have that cooked food conditioning in their lives. But I don't have that. And so I've been eating this diet for a long time. And
So how,
yes, go ahead.
sorry to interrupt, how is it that you don't have the cooked food issue now?
Well, through certain introspective techniques and working with my Lama teachers in the Far East, I was able to eliminate the desired engrams in my brain, the hard wiring. So you have to do certain meditative techniques to do that. But I'm not here to really discuss that other than the fact that I think the main one is the easy one. The hard one is raw vegan. The easy one is mega hydration, drinking a lot of water. So we can talk about that because anybody can drink water. And remember, we talked a lot about the body brine in a previous video. Brine is very important. The Taoists call it jade, and that's an easy thing to do. The raw vegan diet is difficult, but the water issue is not. And so we have humidity in the air, we have body brine, we have gross water that we drink. And the three properties are four properties: coolant, lubricant, solvent, and vital force are in water. There's enzymes in water, but I know allopathic medicine and science would disagree with that, but they don't know biochemopathy, which I created that field about 20 years ago. Biochemopathy is a more advanced medical science than allopathy is today. And that's some things we can talk about too. That would be part of TOY is biochemopathy.
Mhm.
uh, uh,
I just wanted to go
So
back.
this is new stuff, see?
Uh,
The new stuff this time. So
uh,
I'm sitting on a lot of information, everybody. So you just hang in there. If you watch our videos, a lot of things come to light. It's pretty surprising, pretty interesting. So yeah, go ahead, Lena. Sorry.
Going back to diet, so you're saying that raw vegan is really difficult for most people, but you're recommending mega hydration. Is it beneficial though for people to move more towards a raw diet? If even if they can't get there 100%, are there benefits going in that direction if they can?
Well, my opinion is when you eat cooked food, it's dead enzymes. So if you cook the food, it doesn't matter what food you're eating, it's cooked and it's all dead matter. And then people say, well, I want to go raw. Well, but you have a cooked food engram, it's hardwired in your brain. You have to go there firstly. And people claim that they're raw vegan. Privately, they're lying. And I've talked to a lot of pseudo raw vegans, and I talk to them privately, and they always bring up, well, I eat a baked potato occasionally. Well, then you're just vegan, you see. So cooked food is a problem because you're talking about the dysfunctionality of enzymes. You see, they're not really killed, but I always say dead enzymes because if they're not working, they're pretty much dead. They're either dysfunctional or inoperative because they're a crystalline type microbe. So they're a crystal. Yeah,
So it,
crystals die. Yeah, go ahead.
so from what you're saying, it would then follow that the less of the cooked food which has the dead enzymes in it, the less of that you eat, the better, really.
Well, I'd see if people would dehydrate their food. See, here's a good example and probably helpful. The problem is there's a big rush. People have workaday lives. They don't have time to dehydrate food. It might take you 24 hours to cook some meat versus a couple hours. You see what I mean? So they don't really have time to dehydrate their food. But when you cook something, you're dehydrating it. You're drying it up. See, that's what cooked food is. If you took time to do slow cooking at 104 degrees, I recommend 104, but there's a controversy between 104 and 118. They claim that 118 is still raw, and that's fine. Whatever keeps the enzyme life intact. See, so if they would cook things slowly, you could eat any cooked food. You could dehydrate meat, you can dehydrate anything. You can eat meat raw, but people mostly don't want to do that. So you want to dehydrate or cook it slowly. So cooking slowly is the answer, but nobody has time to cook slowly. See, that's a big issue. So I eat dehydrated food all the time, but you still have enzyme life in that. And that's the issue is the llamas were talking about enzyme being the king of everything. It's they call if you put a drop of lemon in a glass of wine, one drop, it makes it king soma. It's an elixir. It's not unlike the jade or the saliva the Taoists are talking about. You make wine into an elixir, sangria. Sangria means Shangri-La or heaven. So if you change the chemistry of things, just like if you dehydrate your food at a certain degree, slowly cook it, then you're maintaining the enzyme life. So the enzyme is the issue with the llama teachers. It's not really the food itself, it's the enzyme. Whatever maintains the enzyme life is what keeps them alive too. And that's why they're really ancient people, they're hundreds of years old. I know
Mhm.
people don't believe that here in the West, but mega hydration can get you probably 200 years of life without changing your diet. If you would mega hydrate, meaning and they use ounces here in America. If you drink what your weight in water in ounces. If let's say if you weigh 124 pounds, you drink 124 ounces. See, 128 is a gallon, I think. Is that right? 120? Yeah. 128. If you drink 128 ounces, a gallon of water every day, and you weigh 128, and you maintain the clarity of your urine, which means you're hydrated, then that's you're good to go for a long time. And you can go even over and above that particular level of water. But see now, allopathic medicine, which is a so-called medical practice right now, they don't agree with me at all. But some of the privately they do, but publicly they can't talk about that because they're selling what? Pharmaceuticals. pharmaceutical industry is a multi-trillion dollar industry and it's not going away anytime soon just because I'm talking about it. You see what I mean? But truth be known that, and you know, I've talked about this, everything, it's 100% water. We're just water. We're in a water bubble. We're just water. So the more that we nurture that water, the longer we can last, you see? So that's why I'm trying to say that the drinking even gross water can cure what ails you. If you have pain in your body, it'll take pain away. All you have to do is target it. I know a dear friend of mine is a registered nurse, and he was saying that you can program water. So that comes from the allopathic entity. They agree that you can program the water. In other words, when you drink it, you can direct it in your consciousness to say you have pain in your shoulder and you direct the water there and you feel that, it'll take the pain away. But we don't consider water as a remedy. We consider water as to quench thirst. That's the concept, see? But water is more than that. It's a coolant, lubricant, solvent, and has vital force. It has enzymes in it. See, so that's very important. The water is really easy too. Isn't that simple? But
Mhm.
talk to people about water, and I can't drink that much water every day. I go, well, it's too bad. Say la vie. Nice knowing you. I mean, that's how simple it is. Mega hydration is the answer to everything. And I know that the allopaths take umbrage to that terribly, but they're going to get on board with what I'm talking about because it's knowing your arena. They know it's the truth. And pharmaceuticals are just dreadful dirt powders that people take in their bodies, and it's all heterosuggestion. When a doctor says this is going to help you, you auto-suggest it to agree with them, and it'll work. It's just a competence trick, and they're placebos. Even homeopathy, they take these little bioplasma pills that I take. It's a competence thing because I really like the mineral salts. They, I was studying homeopathy for a while, and I spent some time in some seminars. And at the end of the seminar, after several weeks, someone got up in the audience and asked the facilitator. They said, "What if I don't have the proper remedy for a situation?" And the facilitator made a huge mistake with me. He said, "Well, use what you have." What does that mean? Well, it's all placebo. It doesn't matter what you have, just utilize it. It's a thing that exists. Take the pill and you'll be just fine because it's a confidence game. See, you agree with it and then you're okay. See, and that's why they have side effects. For people who don't agree in it, they have some problems. Anyway, so this idea of mega hydration being the answer to everything when you get right down to it, because we're talking about brine and humidity too. When we breathe, remember I said to you that you and I are sitting here talking to each other, and as we breathe, that humidity in our breath is maintaining our life. If we didn't have that, we couldn't maintain life without breath, right?
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. I just wanted to ask Grantham, so you're recommending mega hydration. What if people are still drinking lots of dehydrating types of drinks, tea and coffee, and perhaps just eating a standard Western diet, fast food, and all the rest of it? Is the mega hydration still going to work? Do what you say it's going to do, even if the other habits don't change?
Absolutely. As long as you're drinking the water and without any type of fruit in it. If you put lemon in water, it turns it into juice and now it digests as food. As long as you're drinking the water as it is, and there's all different types of water, and I'm saying just get the water in you. As long as it a 7 or higher on the pH scale, it's fihydrin in terms of body chemistry, in terms of if it's a 7 or higher, it's alkaline. If it's lower than a 7, then it's acidic. So just measure your water's pH and it's good to go. You see? So that's really the answer about water, proper pH to make it alkaline, make it cold. The idea of acidic and alkalinity is just simply hot and cold. When you get right, acidic is hot, alkaline means cold. So again, I simplify things. So you want things as cool as possible with your body because your body is really a heat pump generating a lot of heat and it needs to cool down. That's why water is a coolant, a lubricant, a solvent, and it has vital force. It's a force. Okay, so You want to keep cooling the body down. As we breathe, we're cooling the body down because we're a heat pump. Well, it's not really heat. We're generating light. It's fast light because really thermodynamics doesn't exist. And I threw it out in biochemopathy a long time ago because it's just spinning light. We know the essence of the person. Religions talk about the light within us. And it's just spinning light. It's fast light. It's not heat. But the fast light needs to have a coolant with it because when it's going very quickly, it needs coolant as it's spinning. You see, and then you say, is that a thermodynamic situation? No, it's just light spinning fast. Needs a coolant for its lubrication. So you got a coolant, lubricant. Now it's a lubricant to maintain its motion. So light needs to maintain its motion with a coolant and a lubricant. And now a solvent comes in, is especially when our physical bodies, if you're injured, let's say you had a problem with your elbow or your knee, what happens when you drink the water and you target maybe a pain in the knee, it'll act as a solvent and clear out any debris, any toxins in the area for it to heal itself. We're a healing machine, a constant state of healing ourselves. And that's what we got to get out of the way of to allow people to heal themselves. Just like we say, get out of the way and let them communicate and talk themselves into heaven, as I say, because you guys have to make a connection, a confidence connection with the voice and with your physical body if you want to live immortality, proper mortality. As long as there's ground to stand on, you can live here. See, that's why the lamas, my teachers in the Far East, were very old people. I mean, it's unbelievable the ages. They were hundreds of years old, and people don't believe that in the West. But I met them, and I saw full face to face with these people, and you just someplace along the line, we got to believe in something. You see, we have to believe in something, otherwise we don't have anything. See, so my opinion is you've got to take information or that's been around for a long time that has a strong track record of results and practice. Like we talk about the yantra, it has strong results from it, you see. So,
Mm.
so if people will do a little bit of discipline, like we're talking about 9 minutes a day, everything will come to them. But these things are to be practiced. Health needs to be practiced if you want to live a long time and look okay. I think I look pretty good for my age. I'm 75 and I'm in perfect cardiovascular health. I don't have any sepsis in my body. My body doesn't infect. If I get cut, there's no infection. It will bleed and heal within a short time. If I get a cut, it'll heal within 2 days.
And do you attribute that to your raw vegan diet?
Absolutely. Or mega hydration will flush everything out of the system and it'll flush the septus out of your body too. Septus is just the ooze that's infected by dead enzymic matter, dead matter, decay in the body causes septus. And septus means if you're wounded and stuff, it'll infect. Your body's infected already because you have this dead matter in your body. I don't have any dead matter. I tried to do a cleanse a couple of years ago, nothing came out because my enzymes are alive. I have a live body. Okay, now I don't look like I'm 25, but I'm moving towards that because I started doing raw vegan when I was in my late 50s. You
Mm.
see, so I had debauchery for 57 years, and then now I've been raw vegan for 18 years, but I'm on a rejuvenation cycle too. People don't look. I'm 75. Do I look 75?
No, you
Well,
don't.
that's what I'm saying. Look at somebody, compare me to some 75-year-old, and put a picture next to me. I challenge you to see, but I'm rejuvenated. I'm getting better every single day because of the diet and the mega hydration. So I'm saying to people, if you want to live long and prosper like this, the Vulcan, thank you, Spock, then mega, look, is this easy or what? I mean, drinking water is not difficult, Lena. Folks, water is easy. So stop it and just drink it.
I have been trying Grantham, but I have to say I need to drink about 4 liters.
But
And
you're a kid. You're just a young kid. Look how young, look how youthful she is. Doesn't she look young? Young, beautiful woman, you know?
but it is difficult, and I find that the more water I drink, the more the less room there is for food. So I'm imagining that if people are simply eating a standard diet, that if they start drinking more water, that there'll be less room for the foods that aren't particularly healthy.
But the truth be known, you're raw vegan, right? How long have you been doing it? How long? About four months, something.
About 4.5 months now, yeah.
And, is everything okay?
It seems to be.
Oh,
Okay.
that's yes, I'm just fine. I don't get too personal with things. I've known people for years. I don't know anything about them. Been talking to them for a long time because unless people offer it, I don't really mention much about it. So anyway, so I appreciate that. Uh, at the same time, I think that people want proper health and they don't want it really difficult. That's why when we're talking about water, it's not really difficult. But then the factor of you might have to urinate more and you have to move into the bathroom. Where are they? Or the toilet? And the British say the toilet or lavatory, right? I
Mm.
have to move into my lavatory. Where are they? Well, I mega hydrate. Now, don't open that door. It's my laboratory. The door is locked. Uh,
You said something interesting earlier, and I wanted to go back to it. You were talking about soma. You were talking about putting lemon in wine. Um, but I was thinking, putting lemon in wine, you people will still get drunk, and the drink will still have its addictive properties.
well, it's not really addiction. There's really nothing addictive. That's just people want attention. They act like it's addictive, but then people do things that are different than balanced social behavior just to get attention. You see, addictions are just attention. You're not really addicted to it. It's it's just silliness across the board when you get right down to it. But the idea of you still get inebriated but it's not alcohol inebriation. It's like enlightenment elixir type thing. It's like soma, and like they're talking about jade, the saliva is a heavenly elixir. They're talking about your saliva as being an elixir. So what you do when you because wine is a fine art and it's raw. See, it's raw vegan. They don't cook wine. See, which is really great, and that's why if you alter the chemistry, now you're talking about a an elixir that is very good for you. And it's very healthy. And Italians swear by it too. But you got to get the chemistry so it turns it into alkalinity. So the alkaline factor of the lemon, which is see, that's the only thing in homeopathy that they did correctly. They did parts per million. When you change and alter a chemistry, a vibration shifts, and it doesn't take much to do that. That's why one drop will change the entire chemistry to a glass of wine, and that means that now it becomes alkaline. It's not acidic anymore. It won't harm you. But acidicism is just the fast light. Remember, we're talking about heat. Heat's just really fast light, and it just can be disturbing to your physical body if it's not balanced. So the lemon will balance that out. See, or a drop of citrus will do that. Especially the lemon's very good in terms of chemistry. So proper chemistry is what we're really about in terms of living long. You see, living long and immortality is very important. Not immortality, but immortality is very important if you want to live long. See, it's a person's choice. I mean, just in the West, they have this issue about 100 years and you're out of here. When I lived in the Far East, they didn't have a concept for that. So people live much longer and look really good because they don't have a limitation of a concept. Remember, we're always talking about everything is a concept. Yeah, go ahead, kid.
Yeah, I want to go back to this wine point. To me, though, if someone has an ambition to live in portality, even if they're putting lemon juice in the wine, if you drink a bottle a day, it's still going to be really detrimental to the health. That's my perspective.
Well, yeah, according to the concept. But when you change the concept, but everything's in balance, you know. If you do anything to the extreme, if you're constantly drinking, that's silly. We know that. So there's a balancing factor, common sense, you know. I really believe in common sense, and even though philosophers argue what does that mean, we have to get into nuances of that and antithesis of that whole business. But with people, if they're constantly doing something out of balance, that's just silly, if anything. I mean, why would you want to be? Well, I know people drink all the time, but again, I'm saying if you're constantly drinking, just balance it out. I mean, turn it into soma. You'd be surprised that if people are constantly drinking, like alcoholics are constantly binging and what have you, if they balanced it out and turned into soma, they would cut down on they would stop it because now it's just a tension getting thing. And now if you turn in enlightening elixir, then it destroys the whole idea of wanting attention from somebody. See, so it causes balance when you get the right chemistry. See,
Mm,
so they won't do that. They won't drink every single day because they'll stop doing it, realizing that now they're not getting attention anymore because now it's okay. See, when things are something diffident or something negative, and they're going to go to the extreme, they're just trying to get attention. When it goes away, then it goes into balance. You see how things people do things the opposite way to get attention. We're born in this world to get attention. That's why we have a body here. We want all the attention. That's
mm,
why babies cry to get attention. You see, but if a baby had their native language and they were just talking right out of the gate, I sing them, baby was boom, nobody paying attention to it. You see, because they're not screaming or yelling or being all emotional and putting on a show like that for attention. See, if we were always walking in balance, then that would be the best thing to do, but we're not doing that. Exoterically, it's impossible to get balance exoterically. But we try to do that, even in the American idea of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Think of that last liberty as pursuit of happiness, right? We're pursuing it, but we never get it. But we get fleeting moments of happiness, but it doesn't maintain. We get to a pinnacle of happiness and then we fall down. Or negative rhetoric gets in there. People ask questions for the sake of asking questions, or aristicism. They just want to argue all the time. They want to show off their knowledge and that sort of thing, or bring people down and condemn them. But what do we say on our calls? We say, let's commend people. Let's give commendation, not condemnation. Let's not condemn people. Let's support people. Allow them to communicate. If they want to ask questions in a way that's not just trying to condemn people or put them on the spot or make them look foolish. That's not right. That's just rhetoric. You see, or some argument or antithesis routine. I'm not into antithesis. I'm into synthesis. I think synthesis is very important. We need to allow people their space to gain their own synthesis as well.
mm.
Pregnant, pause. Is somebody going to have a baby? I didn't even wear my watch today, so I don't know the time.
Well, I think we probably got to we've definitely done half an hour.
Okay, well, we
So
should stop there and do another one, I suppose.
yeah, okay.
I can say bye for now this time.
Okay. Thank you everyone for watching. Please share, like, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.